Welcome to Yoga 77. My name is Jackie. Today we're going to be working through a short wind down evening, perhaps before sleeping practice. So we'll be taking the whole practice laying down on our backs. You might have a mat. You could even take this practice laying down in bed. So come onto your mat or wherever you'd like to practice this evening and just lie down on your back. Nice, so just bring your arms by your side, feet about hip distance apart. Just notice the contact of your toes, your feet to your mat. You might even notice the arch under each foot. You might have your palms facing down. Just allow the shoulders to draw down and back, and just check in with your breath here. Just notice the quality of your breath as you've arrived for your practice this evening. And if it's available to you, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And as you bring your awareness to your breath, you might start to notice perhaps a slight deepening of your breath. Your breath might start to become a little bit more even. Perhaps you start to lengthen your breath a little. You might even encourage very gently for your exhale to be a little longer than your inhale. Just take another 3 to 5 breath rounds as you are. You might have a soft gaze. You might prefer your eyes closed. Taking your last breath round or two. Nice, and then just bring your mind down your spine. Just notice the shape of your spine in this position. And you might notice that little curve under your lower spine. You might even just take one hand, maybe just slide it under. So you might just be able to slide your hand in between that gap. And then we're going to draw the spine down towards the mat. So you could even try that with your hand there. It's almost like you're slightly squashing your hand. Nice, then bring the hand out. And then see if you could draw your spine lightly down towards your mat. It doesn't have to come all the way down. And you might notice as you do that your pelvis tilting back. Nice, and then just let that gap come back and notice your pelvis tilting forward. Beautiful. We'll just try a few more of these. So see if you can find some movement through your pelvis. Just knowing it can be a little bit tricky, this movement, and so if it doesn't make sense to you or doesn't sort of just resonate with you straight away, just know that that is quite normal. You might just be thinking about moving the pelvis, or it might be a really small movement. It might be a little bigger. Remember, we're all working with a different body, a different skeleton, different journey, different yoga journey. And just continue with these very subtle movements, tilting your pelvis forward and back, however that looks for you this evening. And even from one practice to the other, it can feel different, it can look different. Nice, and just take another 3 to 5 of these. You might be moving with your breath. Just notice which way round your breath wants to move as the pelvis moves. Really nice. Then just come back to what feels like a neutral spine, and you might even just tilt your head side to side. Just bringing one ear down towards your mat, and then let the other ear come down towards your mat. Nice, just to take another 1 or 2 of those to each side. You might even think of this as just massaging out through the base of your skull. Once you've completed that, just come back through center. Beautiful. If you need to adjust your feet, you're very, very welcome. Just through the arms. Nice. And then just draw your legs in towards your belly. Just give them a hug, take some little rock side to side. And you might think of this as massaging out through your lower spine or through your sacrum. Right, have one hand on each knee, and just like you're just guiding your knees very, very gently, very mindfully, noticing any sensations through your sacrum, through the lower spine, through your lower back, perhaps through your hips. Nice, and then extend your right leg long. Now, if it doesn't want to come right down to the floor, if that's uncomfortable for you, just bend through your right leg and ground down the sole of your foot. So it can be bent, anywhere in between, or straight. Nice, and just drawing your left leg in towards your belly. And again, just continue with those side to side movements. Nice, just check in with your shoulders that no tension has snuck in. So just allowing the shoulders to be soft and heavy. So notice softness through your neck, smoothness through your face. Nice, and you can really just take organic movements here through the left leg. Guide your knee or your shin, hands might be over the shin. And so the leg is quite relaxed, and just use your arms, your hands lightly to guide. Just a little bit of weight through the hands, through the elbows. Really nice. Let's take a few more of these. And so it might be a circling motion or side to side. Nice, and take some movement through your foot, through your ankle, maybe circling one direction and then the other. Really nice. And then I'm going to take it into a spinal twist. So again, you can take this with the right leg extended long, or you might have that leg bent. And you're just going to allow the weight of your right hand to start to lower your left knee down to the right side. So you might bring your left arm out to the side. Beautiful. And then just finding your shape. And so just coming into a spinal twist, you might take your gaze out over your left arm, your left shoulder, and just coming into a shape where you are able to stay. And so you might not come all the way over with your left leg. If you're working with a bent right leg, you could allow the legs to come down both at the same time. Nice, and you might have space to bring them down towards your mat. And so just finding the shape that works for you, and just notice that rotation through your spine. If the gaze over your left hand is just a little bit much through the upper spine, through the neck, just keep your gaze straight up overhead. And feel free to add a little bit of weight using the right hand if you'd like a little bit more twist through your spine. And again, I'm just going to demo with that lower leg straight as well. Nice, and just staying in your shape for another 4 to 6 breath rounds. Again, you might choose to keep a soft gaze. You might close your eyes down here. And you might direct your breath to those areas where you notice the sensation through your body. You might notice around the hip area, through the spine. You might notice it through the lower back. the mid-back, maybe up through the upper back, through the shoulders. Just taking your last breath or two. So when you're ready to come back through centre, if the head is over to one side, see if you can bring your head and your leg up at the same time. Nice, come back through centre. Beautiful. And then draw both legs in towards your belly. And again, just come back to those little rocks side to side. Nice, and bring both feet down towards your mat or the ground or wherever you're practicing. And just let the knees knock in towards each other. Beautiful. And just have a little pause here. You might even just scan through one leg, the other leg. Just observe one hip, the other hip. One side of your body, the other side. And you might notice a difference from one side to the other. You might notice more space, heaviness, perhaps lightness on one side compared to the other. If you don't notice anything, that's okay. That's still something to notice. And we'll take that all on at the second side. So just toe heel your feet back in. You're going to extend out through your left leg. Again, if that's not working for you straight, just keep that leg bent, sole of the foot connected to your mat, and just draw your right leg in towards your belly. And again, we're just going to take those movements. So really just checking in here, noticing any interesting spots, any sticky spots, or just places where you notice a sensation. And it might be something you can't even describe. It might even bring some feelings or emotions up as you work through this subtle movement. And if you've let go of your awareness to your breath, maybe just reconnect to your breath if that's available for you. And if it's not available to you, if that just doesn't resonate or make sense to you, just don't worry about that. Just work with the little movements. Beautiful. Just work on this for a few more breath rounds. Just checking that the shoulders are still soft, face is smooth. Nice. And again, we'll take some movement through the right foot, through your ankle, maybe spreading your toes, taking circles through your foot. Just notice any pops and clicks along the way. Really nice. And again, we'll come into that spinal twist. So again, your option to keep the left leg bent as both knees come down towards your mat or the ground. Again, you might bring the right arm out. You might extend your left leg. Nice. And just coming again into your twist. And just let the left hand just draw down onto your right knee. No need to force it. And just try and keep both shoulders down towards the ground, your mat. And again, you might choose to take your gaze out over your right arm, your right shoulder. Or you can keep your gaze straight overhead. Nice, just checking the shoulders are soft and heavy, elbows are heavy. And again, we'll just stay on the second side. Just let gravity do all the work for you. Again, if you've lost connection with your breath, just bring your awareness back. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. Just allowing your body to come more into your parasympathetic nervous system. A time for slowing down, nourishing, rest, repair. Beautiful, maybe staying for another 2 to 3 breath rounds here. Once you feel complete, no hurry at all, just allow your gaze, your legs to come back through center. Again, just drawing both legs in towards your belly. Take those little maybe circles or rocks side to side. You might even take the knees around in circles in opposite directions. Just bringing a little bit of movement through your hips. Really nice. Then we're going to end in what we call waterfall pose. So you can either bring your legs up against a wall, or you might take this waterfall pose in bed. You might even pop yourself into bed if you're down on the floor on your mat. Or of course you can take this shape down on the floor or on your mat. So really just take whatever feels right. And so just bring your left foot down towards the mat or your the floor or the bed, and just start to bring your right leg up towards the ceiling. Nice. Just notice how that feels. Notice if you can bring in a sense of lightness through that leg. Beautiful. So you can have a bend in your knee. The leg doesn't have to be straight. See if you can make the foot soft. Beautiful. Toes soft. And then we'll float the second leg up. Beautiful. And just bringing it up alongside your right leg. Nice. So you want to find a shape where the legs are drawing down and back into your hip sockets. Beautiful. An option is just to take the legs up, or you might like to bring one arm up at a time as well. Palms facing towards each other. And again, it's like your arms are drawing down and back into your shoulder sockets. Really nice. And we're just going to stay in a waterfall pose. If this is just not for you, if it feels, just doesn't feel right in your body, just very slowly float one arm at a time down towards the ground, your mat, your bed, and then one leg at a time, very, very slowly down, very, very mindful movements. Otherwise, just staying in your waterfall shape. And if this is working for you, you can take this for a few more minutes. And of course, you might be taking it with your legs up against a wall, a really nice variation as well, with a little bit of support behind you. So again, you might even choose to pause the video, stay in the shape. And when you are ready to come down, just lowering one arm at a time. And really do take your time to lower down. And then just lowering one leg at a time. So when one leg comes down, really connect with the sole of your foot. Just notice the stabilization through your center. Beautiful. And then bringing that second leg down. Really nice. And then you might just feel like taking some final little adjustments. Otherwise, you might be extending the legs out long. You might be taking a shavasana. You might be setting up for your sleep for the night. Just take anything else that you need. And so wherever you are, just feel free to stay. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful sleep. Go well. Namaste.